Coming up on this edition of Hawkeye News.
With the completion of the new Career and Technology buildings, the district now turns to other construction projects going on around ROISD. Hawkeye News brings you up to date on the construction taking place in and around ROISD in the city. We have details on the new press box, elementary school, restaurants, and other businesses straight ahead.
Also, it's time to check in with our wonderful counselors to see what's new from the Counselor's Corner. Find out important news on deadlines and requirements all of us need to know about. News students can use coming up.
Many times we all get so busy with our active high school lifestyles we forget to stop and thank those who help us the most, our parents. Coming up, we'll have details on this year's Mother and Father of the Year ceremony, developed by the Red Oak ISD Practical Parenting Program, along with the Ellis County PTAs. Find out who the winners are later in our show.
It's time once again to welcome back Hawkeye News crime reporter J.D. Foster, who brings us another hard-hitting crime report. This month, J.D. shows us just how easy it is to become a victim of a date rape drug. Stay tuned to learn how to prevent this from happening to you.
And finally, in what was one of the most entertaining nights of the year, the Project Success Drug Education Program packed the Red Oak High School cafetorium at the 2005 Mr. and Mrs. Red Oak pageant. We have the highlights.
All coming up next on this edition of Hawkeye News.
You're watching Hawkeye News with Christian Henson, Natalie Hillary, Sports with Brady Sapp, News coverage from the Junior High Bureau with Lexi Belote, plus academic and student life reports with our Hawkeye News team. Hawkeye News.
Leadership you can depend on. Welcome to this Valentine edition of Hawkeye News for February 2005. I'm Natalie Hillary.
And I'm Katie Stanglin. Christian's on assignment this month.
As winter comes to its final stages, we start to think of fun things such as spring break and outdoor sports.
That's right, Natalie, and with that comes warmer temperatures. Things are beginning to heat up as we take a look ahead with our wonderful counselors.
Plus, as all of you know, one of the biggest events of the year, the Mr. and Mrs. Red Oak pageant, was held earlier this month. Later in our show, we'll bring you highlights from the pageant and reveal this year's winners, a story you will only see here on Hawkeye News.
But first, this month's top stories.
With the completion of the new Career and Technology building, the district now turns to other construction projects going on around Red Oak ISD. We decided it was a good time to check in on the progress of the press box, Red Oak Elementary, and to see what the next schedule is for the new Performing Arts building that voters approved in the last bond election. On a project that has been underway for several months now, the new football field press box is beginning to take shape. The elevator shaft is completely enclosed, and now walls are beginning to be put up on the structure. District construction officials have said that once the press box is enclosed by walls, the project will pick up speed and should be completed by the end of the school year and ready for football season in August. The press box will allow coaches to spread out, as well as a state-of-the-art facility for the PA announcer, media, and other rooms that will be designated at a later time. Construction on the new Red Oak Elementary is also moving along as scheduled. Wet weather has hampered some phases of construction, but the project is at this time still set to open for business in August when school starts for the 2005-2006 school year. School officials are getting excited about the new facility, and teachers recently took a tour of the new building site to see where their future classrooms will be located. The school was part of the last bond package approved by Red Oak ISD voters and will allow Red Oak Elementary to expand to the growing community needs. After completion of the new Red Oak Elementary, the old Red Oak Elementary will begin the process of being renovated into the new district administration building. Another project getting ready to kick off is the new Performing Arts building that will be built between the high school and the current administration building. Hawkeye News will keep you updated on all the construction projects taking place in Red Oak ISD in the coming months.
It is also very evident around Red Oak that our community continues to grow, with new housing additions continuing to pop up all over the city, and according to city officials, even more in the planning stages. The Red Oak population of Red Oak will soon be nearing that 10,000 mark. Our producer, Alan Oliver, traveled around to show us a few of the construction areas that will soon be home to new restaurants and other businesses. Just down the road from the new Red Oak High School is a new retail and restaurant area being developed called One Main Place. The city reports that this area will house a new home-style restaurant, as well as a sports bar and other small retail shops. As you travel down to Ovilla Road, you will also see construction on the new Red Oak Depot complex located just east of the new police and fire station. This area is also said to be the future home of a restaurant and small retail shops as well. Ovilla Road is a long way from the lightly traveled road of years gone by, and while most of the new businesses have built east of I-35, there is now new construction on small retail centers west of I-35, including the new Guerrero project. Other areas of construction are also planned west of I-35, including a new housing addition that is to be built off of Yule Road at Ovilla Road in the next several months. New housing additions are also planned for Red Oak Road, as well as continuing phases of Fox Hollow located off of Highway 342 and the woods of Red Oak Addition off of Red Oak Road between Live Oak and I-35. As we have said before, our little town is rapidly growing, and with the proposed annexation and efforts of the Red Oak Economic Development Commission, we can expect to see even more growth in the coming months. As many know, Walmart has purchased land off of Ovilla Road and I-35, and this will surely change the traffic flow around Red Oak in coming months. In addition, with school district construction, Hawkeye News will keep you posted as new development comes to our city in the coming months.
From time to time, we like to check in with our wonderful counselors to see what's new from the Counselor's Corner. This segment allows students an opportunity to find out important news on deadlines and requirements all of us need to know. Let's see what's new this month from the Counselor's Corner.
If you're a junior, we've been talking about getting ready to take national tests. We have the ACT and the SAT, and they're both coming up. It's very important for juniors to get a test score on their transcript in the spring of their junior year. We offer the ACT on our campus April 9th. Okay, you need to sign up by March 4th. The numbers for these are in the books. They're printed already. So if you want to sign up for the ACT on our campus, you need to put down 158180. That's our test site, 158180. This year we'll also have permission to offer the SAT. We're going to offer the SAT on June 4th. This is the first time, and we want to get as many students as we can to take this test, because then we'll be able to offer it multiple times in the future. To get kids ready for the SAT, we're going to offer a 4-day SAT prep camp prior to the test. So the camp will take place on the 35th of May, the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of June, and then the test is the 4th of June. The camp is only going to service 50 people. It's first come, first served. The first 50 juniors, and it's going to cost $50. So if you come to the counseling office, and you can pay for that, and we'll get you signed up. The teachers for the prep camp will be Miss Malky for the math and Miss Wirch for the English. And the code for the SAT is a new one. I'm not familiar with it yet. It's 44 44718. And it's not in the SAT prep book because we just got permission to do this. 44718. The last thing I want to tell you is, I know these numbers can sometimes be confusing. We have a school code for reporting scores. Don't get them confused with the test site. If you want your scores reported to us and put on your transcript, you have to continue to use our school code, which is 445805. If there's any confusion about this, come by the counseling office and we'll be happy to explain that for you. Look forward to seeing all of you at the ACT and the SAT test dates.
A 1, a 2, a you know what to do. Way to go, Chris. Way to go. Way to go, Chris. Way to go. Way to go, Chris. Way to go. Hey, you have been woo for taking care of business and finishing up. He's now going to graduate. Yay! Count yourself woohooed. We just woohooed another student who's taken care of business and finished up their credits at Plato Credit Recovery. Way to go, Chris, and way to go all you other guys who are taking care of business.
Thanks again to all our counselors for helping us help ourselves, and we will check back in with them in future editions of Hawkeye News. Stay tuned.
We have all, no doubt, been touched by the horrible images from the deadly tsunami that recently destroyed so many lives. The relief efforts have come from all over the world in large and small donation amounts. One thing is clear, though, that no matter the amount, each of these donations will be very helpful to those who try to rebuild. Under the leadership of Miss Nancy Nelson and Miss Mary Halbert, students at ROI began a penny campaign to help the students visualize 150,000 humans that are no longer on this earth. Organizers felt that if they could see 150,000 pennies, one for each lost life, that maybe they could grasp the devastation a little better. The students have responded overwhelming with their pennies. At press time, ROI does not have an exact count, but know that they have surpassed their goal of $1,500. The Ellis County Chronicle will also honor the students by taking photos of the students and all the pennies piled up on the stage. ROI would also like to thank other schools in the district that gave money as well for their outstanding effort. We would like to congratulate Mr. Major, Miss Nelson, Miss Halbert, and the wonderful staff and great students for their outstanding effort. While many times the state and federal government grade us on test scores, it is clear that this effort shows that education is about much more. The lessons learned in this project may do more for the good of mankind than any tax score can ever do. Great job, ROI.
The Fort Worth Stock Show is one of the main events each year for our outstanding FFA department. This year, several of our students took part by showing their animals at the show. These students, their teachers, and parents worked hard to make it to this event, and the results were very positive. According to FFA teacher Mrs. Hoggett, the students all did a great job representing Red Oak High School at the show this year. The students, along with their parents, worked hard raising the animals and preparing them for show. Congratulations to Mr. Lewis, Mrs. Hoggett, and all those FFA students who took part in the stock show, and best wishes the rest of the year. The beginning of the school year is always a busy time for our friends at the junior high, and this month junior high reporter Lexi Belote has lots of information from junior high sports, and much more in this month's Junior High in Review. Lexi?
Hello, Red Oak Junior High. January and February have been really busy months so far at the junior high, and this month we take a look at community service electives, one-act play results, and a district championship for our 7th grade boys B team in basketball, all in this month's Junior High in Review. Miss Coker's 7th period sewing class at Red Oak Junior High has started a community service elective. They are learning how to sew, make quilts, and other things for the hospitals and nursing homes. Since the organization has started, the students have made quite a few items and helped meet the need of about 300 Christmas presents for Ellis County nursing homes and hospice. All of this has been done in their free time. There have also been 25 students who have participated in Project Tribute to the Troops, one of which went to Sam Wiley's son in Korea. Some boys who enjoy quilting are making a child's quilt with applique Volkswagen Beetle car blocks. This quilt will definitely brighten up the day of a young sick boy. Our plans are to make a full-time elective out of this for the next year if everything is approved. If you have a chance, come by and take a look on what is taking place down here. You may drop in anytime. In her first year of teaching at Red Oak Junior High, theater arts teacher Miss Katrina Knight has led the Red Oak Junior High one-act play team to a second-place finish in the district competition. The group performed the play The Adventures of Tom Sawyer at the district competition on February 3rd. In addition to placing second, the team also brought home an honor crew, 3 all-star cast members, Sergio Solis, Alan Orcutt, and Ivana Williams, and Best Actor Colby Kissinger. The group also performed on Friday, February 4th for the school in 2 performances. The play was performed for the general public on Tuesday, February 8th. The judges told the top 2 teams that it all came down to apples and oranges of who would win. The coin was tossed while Athens won. The judges went on to say that they could tell that Red Oak had a great teacher and that the students had learned a lot. Congratulations to Miss Knight and the entire cast and crew for representing our school so well. Basketball District Champions. In junior high sports news, all our junior high teams have done a great job this season and have learned a great deal in the process. However, one team has done the ultimate. The 7th grade boys B team recently finished off an 8-win and 1-loss season in district play and are the 2004-2005 District 14 4A champions. Under the direction of Coach Jones, who is in his first year at Red Oak, the boys learned a great deal about leadership and citizenship on and off the court. Coach Jones and the other basketball coaches are following the lead of the high school basketball coaches who are bringing a winning tradition to Red Oak. Coach Jones stated, "I would like to add that both our A and B teams have worked hard all year long." He said what they put into the basketball program, they got back 2 times that. He went on to say this is a group that will be special as they continue to develop their basketball skills and that this group is committed to excellence in the classroom and on the court. The team's theme for this season was Hawks Soaring for Excellence and High Standards. This group has raised the expectations of what the future holds for the Red Oak athletic program. In closing, Coach Jones stated that he would like to say thank you to our administrators, high school coaching staff, and most importantly, our parents and students who are 100% behind the Hawks. A winning tradition is about sacrifice and commitment. All it takes is all you got. As you can see, it's really busy here at Red Oak Junior High, and we will be looking forward to spring break next month. If you have story ideas, please leave them in the box outside Sergeant Williams' office in the library. And that's your junior high interview for this month. I'm Lexi Below. Back to you ladies in the studio.
Thanks again, Lexi, for keeping us up to date on the good news from the junior high. We will look forward to hearing more next month.
As one of our new segments we began in December, we once again take a look back to those innocent days of 6th grade, when we all had high goals for our future, to see if you can tell who these 05 seniors are from their Project Success future presentation videos.
In my years ahead of me, I hope to accomplish all my goals in school as well as outside of school. In junior high, I plan on making the basketball team and track team. I also plan on being in honors class all throughout school. In high school, I want to make the varsity soccer team when I'm a freshman. I plan on playing all the sports except for football and tennis. I hope I graduate with a full scholarship to a good college. But it would be nice to go to Florida. But as long as I go to a college, that would be good.
Some of your goals for the future are to get a scholarship in sports or in grades. You want to go to college at Baylor University or the University of Nebraska. You want to play sports in college and one day play in the pros with all your childhood idols. After you get rich in the pros, you're going to buy a big mansion in Hollywood and drive a Ferrari F40. Every weekend you'll fly your private jet to your casino in Vegas and go gambling. These are some of your goals 6 years ago. Maybe you've already achieved some of them, like the college scholarship or still getting straight A's.
I think about all the goals I have right now, and it seems like it will be hard to do them all. If I do not work hard on my work at school, I know I will not be able to play sports. I also might not get to be an actor if I don't do good in school. I guess of all my goals, getting good grades in the future is the most important. My parents being proud of me forever is an important goal for me too.
Well, did you figure out who those students were? We'll have all the answers at the end of our show, and seniors, keep watching. You might see a familiar face from your past on one of our future editions of Hawkeye News later this year.
Want to see the latest fashions? Well, this month, our very own news anchor, Christian Henson, joined her with her fellow cheerleaders to show off what's hot in the world of fashion on February 5th at the Methodist Church. What's the story, Christian?
Recently, the Red Oak High School cheerleaders held their annual fashion show tea. The show was a big success as many women's groups, family, and friends attended at the Red Oak Methodist Church located near the junior high. The afternoon was filled with good food made by Heather Henson, as well as many other cheerleading moms helping out in the kitchen, working hard while the cheerleaders modeled the vintage clothes owned by Red Oak's very own Cindy Hartley. The clothes range from the time of Eve, the Renaissance, the classic 20s and 40s dresses, as well as crazy hippie costumes and 70s and 80s attire. The tea raises money for the cheerleaders' end-of-the-year banquet, and we here at Hawkeye News would like to congratulate the cheerleaders on their great success. Red Oak High School's newest organization that just started this year is the Renaissance Committee, a group of students dedicated to making the school better through the Jostens Renaissance program. Renaissance cards are given out every 6 weeks, giving privileges like parking passes, homework passes, and free candy passes. But that is not all that this new committee has been up to this year. Under the watchful and helpful guidance of Miss Kathy Tier, the group has begun a Student of the Month and Teacher of the Month program. Every month, the committee chooses one boy and one girl from each grade and one teacher for this honor. The students are chosen based on academic achievement, good citizenship, and many other areas, so anyone is eligible. The Renaissance Committee meets every week and is dedicated to making Red Oak High School strive to work to the best of its ability.
Right here, Sarah Doty. You got your certificate and you got your candy.
The Renaissance program specifically focuses on academics. You know, we have these tiers, like when we go into high school, what do most of the students focus on? Well, a lot of high schools, well really most high schools, focus on athletics. What the Renaissance program does, comes in and just focuses on, hey, academics. Because that's the one thing that we all do. We're all into studying, we're all into learning, and that's what the Renaissance program is, academics. You know, the education is what it's all about. You know, we love to help those students learn, giving them motivation to help the schools, help those students get to go that extra step, that extra mile, because like I say, you know, we can all do better, and that's really what it's all about, and that's what we're here to do, is try to support the schools to help those students and teachers just get a little bit better. As far as all the other schools that are involved with this program, believe it or not, Red Oak is one of the very few in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex that is involved with it. And by far, we kind of try to say that Red Oak is our school, our one true trophy school in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex that does focus on Renaissance, because it has been going strong for, I guess, about 4 or 5 years now, and every year it just gets better and better. More students want to get involved. The teachers, they're responding. And what we're hoping is that this starts to bleed over where these other schools really see, oh my goodness, you know, there's a lot of exciting things happening over at Red Oak. Why not try that over here at our school?
Oh, yeah! You are Teacher of the Month. Teacher of the Month. You got your complimentary certificate. You got your shirt. You got your golden apple, not just any apple. The golden apple. That's the apple right there. Okay, everybody just keep moving.
For the kids. I do it for the kids. I want the kids to be a part of the school and make our school better. Jostens has brought, their word to me is pride. And I'm trying to bring more pride with the teachers and the students and bring them all together to recognize as many people as we can recognize in our school that does good work.
This month's District in 60 Seconds is brought to you by Red Oak Car Wash, located at 311 East Ovilla Road.
This month, we take a look at Red Oak Intermediate GT Math, a new pavilion at the City Park, and check out some of the class of 2011 seniors, and show a teacher taking pies to the face as a student reward, all in this month's District in 60 Seconds. Red Oak Intermediate GT Math classes compete. The mission of the Math Counts is to increase interest and involvement in mathematics among all middle school students in order to assist in developing a technically literate population. This competition is sponsored by the National Society of Professional Engineers and the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics. This year will be the first team ever to compete from Red Oak Intermediate, new pavilion at Red Oak City Park. The City of Red Oak was proud to announce the completion of the new pavilion at the Old Town Park. The pavilion was built with funds from the Red Oak Economic Development Commission in cooperation with Red Oak City Parks and Recreation Department at the Red Oak Parks Board. 5th grade teacher Miss April Haynes made a deal with her students that each class could have an 85% or better overall passing percentage on their benchmark test will be allowed to throw a pie in her face. Ms. Haynes kept her deal with 3 classes, 2 which reached 85% and 1 that reached 100% passing on their benchmarks. Congratulations, students, and hats off to an awesome teacher going the extra mile for a better education. 6th graders film future presentation. Recently, the senior class of 2011 took part in a cooperative effort that has become a tradition at Red Oak Intermediate. The students film their future presentations, which deal with their past, present, and future lives. This venture is a cooperative effort between Red Oak Intermediate English teachers and the Project Success Drug Education. Good luck, class of 2011, on your future goals. And that's your district in 60 seconds. That's it for this month. I'm Christian Hinson, reporting just outside Red Oak High School. Back to you, Natalie and Katie.
February is one of the busiest months of the year for our Hawkeye News sports team, with so many sports in play right now.
For more on the world of Red Oak ISD sports, we go to Hawkeye News sports anchor Brady Sapp in the Sports Center. Brady?
Thanks, ladies. You're right. We have a busy month in sports for our Hawks and Lady Hawks, and we will bring you up to date on our district championship, playoffs, and big wins in soccer, and a closer look on our upcoming baseball and softball seasons with our sports guys Robert Kent and Jared Ushery, along with much more after a word from our sponsor.
This month's Hawkeye News Sports is brought to you by Danny Humphreys at State Farm.
Welcome back, Hawk sports fans. Let's talk sports. We kick off this month with our first district championship in girls basketball in 28 years, as we congratulate Coach Reed, Coach Zuniga, and the varsity Lady Hawks, who finished off a 9-1 district schedule and an outright District 14 4A title. The Lady Hawks soared the second half of the season, and after falling to Athens in the first half, they made amends by taking down Athens and Lancaster at home in the second half and doing the same to Maybank, Corsicana, and Ennis on the road. The teams continued to steamroll the competition with strong offensive games and tenacious defense. Coach Reed had the Lady Hawks running like a well-oiled machine, applying the pressure on the defensive end and holding their opponents under their normal offensive outputs. It was evident that the tough pre-district schedule turned out to be just what the Lady Hawks needed, as each game the fans could see the team becoming closer as a team, and it was evident that they were ready for the district competitions. The biggest win might have just been the second game of the second round, as the ladies downed what was undefeated Athens by a score of 47-36. The ladies were led on offense by Ashley Gray with 11 points, followed by Holly Ridgway with 10 points, Emily Hollenbeck with 9 points, Amy Hafner with 6 points, Tasha Beiser with 6 points, and Ryan Ford with 3 points, and Katie Pryor with 2 points. The scoreboard was just one indication of what a team effort this win was, and it set the Lady Hawks on course to run the table. Here's a look at the scores from the second half of the Lady Hawks season. The ladies, by winning the district, had the first round bye before taking on Crowley in the second round, but lost a heartbreaker to Crowley that knocked the ladies out of the playoff. We congratulate our ladies on an outstanding season, wish our seniors the best of luck in the future, and look forward to more great Lady Hawks action in 05-06 season. On the boys' side, the road to the playoffs hit a roadblock after the losses to Lancaster, Corsicana, and Maybank in the second round. After finishing the first round at 3 wins and 2 losses, the Hawks found themselves in the third playoff spot going into the second round. After opening with the 63-46 loss to Lancaster, the Hawks came home to take on Corsicana, hoping to come out with the share for second place. The Hawks led the game all the way until the fourth quarter, when Corsicana made a mad dash to hit a key shot with only seconds left on the clock. The Hawks were unable to get off the final shot and fell in a hard-fought game by a score of 55-54. The Hawks would then regroup and take down Ennis at home by a final score of 51-40, going into a rematch with the Panthers of Maybank at Maybank. It is no secret around 14-4A that Maybank is one of the most difficult places to play. For years, fans have asked just how level the playing field was in Maybank when it comes to officiating. The game on February 11th was no different. The Hawks found themselves falling to the Panthers by a score of 76-72 and dropping them out of third place after a Maybank victory over Corsicana in the second round. The Hawks never quit and finished off district and the season with a 63-47 victory over the Hornets at home. The Hawks were led by Jonathan Edwards, who had 12 points in the victory. This team will really miss some of the strong senior leaders from this year's team, but will have many strong players moving up from JV and several returning starters from this year's squad coming back. The Hawks look to be loaded to compete for playoffs next season. Thanks Coach Foster for the information and assistance to the Hawkeye News Sports Department again this season. Here's a final look at the second half of the scoreboard. Soccer news, the boys and girls soccer teams are off to a great start in district competition, with the guys being undefeated in district play at press time and currently ranked #1 in the Dallas Morning News 4A polls. The guys have big wins over Midlothian, Wilmer Hutchins, Waxahachie, Lancaster, and Ennis. The Hawks started off district play against the rivals from the west, Midlothian, and defeated the Panthers by a score of 2-1. The Hawks, after a few tournament games, would then jump back with a back-to-back win over two district favorites, Waxahachie at home by a score of 1-0 and Ennis on the road by a score of 3-1. In a win over Waxahachie in what was a very physical game, Andy Reyes notched the only score of the game to give the Hawks a big home victory. The Hawks would then travel to Ennis to take on the Lions and would come out with a 3-1 victory. The Hawks took down a new face to the district, Arlington Seguin, by a score of 3-0 and completed the first half of district play with a 3-0 lead over Mansfield Timberview. We will bring you more on the Hawks and see if they can hold that #1 spot in district in our March show. Here's a look at the Hawks district scoreboard at press time. On the girls' side, the Lady Hawks, after dropping the opening district contest to Midlothian, the ladies have bounced back with strong wins over Lancaster, Waxahachie, Ennis, and Arlington Seguin, with the results from Mansfield Timberview not available at press time. The ladies will now turn their attention to rematch after press time against the only team to take down in the first half, the Midlothian Lady Panthers. The ladies showed no signs of letdown after a loss to Midlothian in the first game of district play and smashed the Lady Tigers of Lancaster by a score of 11-0. While Lancaster has not been a factor in the playoffs the past few years, Waxahachie and Ennis did look to be tougher opponents for the Lady Hawks on paper. But as we have said, games are played on the field and not on paper, and it was evident that the Lady Hawks crushed Waxahachie at home by a score of 8-0 before knocking off Ennis on the road by a score of 9-0. The Lady Hawks went on to take down Arlington Seguin before a matchup against Timberview, whose results we will bring you next month. With strong senior leadership and some quickly up-and-coming underclassmen, it is evident that the Lady Hawks are back and should be a big factor in the playoffs this year. We will bring you results from the second half of district play in our March show. Good luck to our Lady Hawks as they continue to pave the road to the playoffs again this year. In related news, we would like to congratulate a couple of boys soccer players for their great accomplishments earlier this year. First, we would like to congratulate senior Matt Esparza on being selected as a McDonald's Scholarship Athlete of the Week. Matt was shown on Dale Hansen's sports special back a couple of months ago.
This is Dale Hansen's Scholar Athlete of the Week, sponsored by McDonald's.
I'm Matt Esparza from Red Oak High School.
Matt is a senior at Red Oak. He spent his summer in Brazil training with a professional soccer team, and there's a good reason for that. He also played on last year's state championship soccer team. His grade point average of 3.78 ranks him 10th in a class of 355. He tutors students after school, helps referee and coach in the Red Oak Soccer Association, serves on the student council, a member of the Spanish Club, and volunteers in different food and clothing drives in Red Oak. Now, what's up after high school for you? You plan on playing pro soccer?
First, I'm looking at college.
And play soccer there?
Yes, sir.
Where are you going to go to school?
Maybe somewhere in North Carolina.
Well, they got good soccer team. And maybe you'll score a goal before you get out of high school and college?
Yeah.
We're out of time. You know that, don't you?
Okay.
McDonald's are giving $250 to Red Oak High School because of a good kid like Matt Esparza.
Congratulations, Matt, on representing Red Oak High School in such a positive manner, and good luck with the rest of the season and your soccer career in college as well. Speaking of college careers, we would also like to congratulate senior Daniel Lopez on his recent signing with Southern Methodist University to play soccer at SMU next year. Daniel has been a star on the soccer field all 4 years of high school and has been named one of the top recruits in the area in soccer this year. Daniel and his family recently celebrated the signing on February 2nd. Principal Russ Shupman, along with Coach Kenneth Blevins, took part in the ceremony held in the Red Oak High School Gymnasium. Daniel is described as an outstanding student in the classroom and has an awesome yet very humble competitor on the field. Daniel is always quick to take the spotlight off himself and make it clear that soccer is a team game and that his team is much the reason for the success. While it is clear that Daniel has worked hard to reach his goals and is still doing so in soccer, it is even clear that his goals have now been raised even higher, and we look forward to keeping up with his career next year and beyond at SMU. Great job, Daniel, from all of us here at Hawkeye News. Best wishes to your career at SMU. While soccer and basketball are again the top spectator sports in early '05, there is another group of student athletes working hard daily to take on the best in the area in powerlifting. The powerlifting teams, under the leadership of Coach Warner, have continued to get stronger leading up to the important district meet, which was held the weekend of our press time. We know the teams did a great job in Alvarado meet in late January with the following results. While we do not have district results at press time, we'll bring you a closer look at our powerlifters in March. As we are now in February, it is also time for several other sports to kick off. And this month, senior Hawkeye News sports reporter Robert Kent and Jared Ushery once again team up to give us a closer look at the upcoming baseball and softball seasons. What's it look like this year for our Kings and Queens of the Diamonds, guys?
Well, Brady, things on the Diamonds seem to be looking up as the Hawks look to make it back to the playoffs for a third season in a row. And our Lady Hawks will continue a long streak of playoff action as well.
The Hawks will look to strong senior leadership this year and will also be counting heavily on some strong underclassmen, not only from the junior class, but a few sophomores who the team hopes will be able to come through for the varsity as well.
The Lady Hawks will once again turn to the Pruitt sisters, Joy and Justine, to step in with other strong returning seniors, such as Ashley Newton and Tiffany Pearson on this year's squad. The team will have a few holes to fill with the graduation of some of the 04 seniors, but Coach Garcia looks to once again put together a strong team on the field by the time district play rolls around on March 22nd, as they kick off against the Lady Tigers of Lancaster at home.
Before district, the ladies will be taking on some of the strongest competition in the area, as they will open up the preseason against Arlington Martin on the road on February 15th. The ladies will open up the home pre-district season with a match against the Lady Indians of Waxahachie on February 18th. Which will be before air date but after press time.
After a disappointing and quick end in the first round of the playoffs last year, the Lady Hawks will look to compete with what looks to be a pretty strong district this year. While Lancaster and Maybank have not been very strong in the past years, teams such as Corsicana, Ennis, and the new kid on the block this year, Athens, do look to be very strong foes for our Lady Hawks.
Coach Garcia always packs the team schedule with tough 4 and 5A competition in scrimmages and pre-district, and this schedule looks no different. We learned just before press time that our Lady Hawks looked really good in a big win over 5A DeSoto on February 11th on the road.
As you can see, the Lady Hawks will be at home only a few times before district play, so we encourage all our students to come out to all the home games and show our ladies some support.
Good luck to Coach Garcia and the Lady Hawks, as they will soon march towards the playoffs the next couple of months.
Now, looking at the Varsity Hawks baseball season, I know both Jared and I are very excited to be a part of this team and look forward to what we believe will be a great season for the Hawk fans.
That's right, Robert. Many of us seniors know it's our last chance to bring home a district title, and although teams such as Ennis and Corsicana have been really tough in the past, we feel we have enough returning varsity players from last year's team, along with strong players who have moved up from the JV to make a run at this year.
Coach Hampel and Coach Tucker will lead our team into district play on March 29th against Lancaster at home. But first, we must prepare ourselves for a tough pre-district schedule, which will kick off on February 24th in the Canton Tournament. The team will also learn a lot about itself in the scrimmages that have already started. At press time, the Hawks will have won both scrimmages against South Grand Prairie and West Mesquite, with scrimmages left against Maypearl and Bishop Dunn, which will take place after press time, but before air date.
Robert and I are two of the seniors in this year's squad, but we are not alone. We are joined by fellow 05 seniors Kyle Lamb, Louis Carpenter, Jeff Schultz, Luke Beasley, and Derek Smith. Also returning starters from last year's team, Troy Elliott and Adam De La Garza, will join up with many other juniors to round out what looks to be a strong starting lineup and a deep bench for this year's team. Sophomores Chad McClellan and Aaron Brewer also look to compete for spots on the varsity pitching staff after they complete their season in basketball.
Pitching, which has been thin in previous years, looks for the first time to be a strong point for the Hawks. And with a lot of hard work and dedication, this team could be something very special by the time playoffs roll around.
That about does it from the world of Lady Hawks softball and Hawks baseball. But next month we move on over to the track to see how the track and field season is going. We know that returning state champion Dee Dee Carter will once again have her sights on continuing to dominate the world of shot put and discus.
Back to you in the studio, Brady. Deuces!
We told you February was a very busy month in sports, and as you can see, we meant it. As always, we would like to thank Ms. Stanglin and the coaches and student athletes for representing Red Oak High School with class and pride. Thanks to our sponsors for your continued support, and until next month, that'll do it here. Back to you ladies in the studios.
And what is becoming one of our viewers' favorite segments, we take a look at all the great news from Wooden, Red Oak Elementary, Shields, and Eastridge Elementary Schools to see what is going on in this month's elementary report. Wooden Elementary, Annual Formal Tea. On Friday, February 11th, the 4th graders at Wooden Elementary held their annual formal tea. This tradition has been a part of Wooden Elementary for many years. Formerly a privilege for the 5th grade students in the building, it has now been passed down to 4th grade, since they are seniors of the building. Each 4th grade student will be inviting one guest to share the day with him or her. Students are encouraged to dress in their Sunday best and are given lessons on manners and etiquette prior to the event. On the morning of the tea, parents help decorate and set up food. The students and their guests arrive in the cafeteria at 8:30. They begin by traveling through the buffet line of finger foods. The high school choir also is a big part of the event as they perform for the students and their parents. Each 4th grade student received a keepsake picture for them and their guest. The formal tea is always an exciting event for Wooden Elementary students, and the teachers and students express their thanks to Hawkeye News for covering the event. Shields Elementary, Jump Rope for Heart. The students in the PE classes at Shields Elementary are learning to jump rope and learning new jump rope skills. It is amazing to watch the young ones learn the basic skills and to see the progress of the older students. The 3rd and 4th graders will be participating in the American Heart Association Jump-a-thon in February. The American Heart Association furnishes ropes for older students, and we, in turn, say thank you to them by collecting money for their worthwhile cause. Thanks to Mrs. Veltman for all of her hard work on this project, and again to Mrs. Simple for submitting this great story. Red Oak Elementary, Students Learn History. Recently, the 4th grade class at Red Oak Elementary received some Texas history information while being entertained by Miss Helen Garrison, a teller of tales. Miss Garrison, in costume, told a thrilled story of Cynthia Ann Parker's life in a first-person narrative portrayal. Cynthia Ann told of being taken as a 9-year-old child from her family at Fort Parker by the Comanche Indians. Being raised as one of her own, she later became the wife of Peta Nocona, a chief of the Nocona Band of Comanches. This marriage produced 3 children, including Quanah Parker, who later became the last war chief of the Comanche Indians. Cynthia Ann continued to tell of being captured for a second time, but this time by the white soldiers who raided her village. At the time of the raid, her husband and 2 sons were gone. She and her young daughter were rejoined to her white family, but she explained that the reunion never seemed to have worked out. Cynthia Ann didn't fit back into the white culture and told of her deep devotion to the Comanches, which had become her people. Eastridge Elementary, Tsunami Help. Eastridge began a collection for the tsunami victims and in 12 days miraculously collected $1,627.92. Jenny Lou Thompson from Thailand emailed the whole school to thank them for helping the victims. Jenny Lou is the daughter of reading recovery teacher and Red Oak's K2 early literacy coordinator. She has lived in Thailand the last 6 years and has been to South Thailand in the past to see the beautiful beaches which were destroyed by the tsunami on December 26. She thanked all the students, teachers, staff, and parents who contributed to help others half a world away. Remember, if you are an elementary or intermediate team leader and would like a visit from the Hawkeye News team, please contact Chief Lindsay's office to set it up. We will be coming to speak to students about Hawkeye News and what it means to be leadership you can depend on.
This month at the West Campus, I'll show you a student who not only excels in the classroom, but also out on the court. Freshman Connor Frizzell takes great pride in being the only freshman on our very own varsity Hawk basketball team. Connor is the son of Paul and Sherry Frizzell, and since he was young has been playing basketball and club ball, and at times having his dad as a coach. Connor says it's not weird being on the same team as his brother Taylor, because he's used to hanging out with him and his friends. Not only does Connor excel on the court though, but also in the classroom. He makes straight A's in all classes, with 3 being honors, and he works hard in school in hopes of graduating valedictorian of his class, going to college, and then someday making it to the NBA. Connor is a great kid, and we congratulate him on being an outstanding freshman. We wish Connor the best of luck on his future, and maybe someday we'll see him on TV playing in the NBA. Many times, we all get so busy with our active high school lifestyles, we forget to stop and thank those who help us the most, our parents.
It is with this in mind that Red Oak ISD Practical Parenting Program, along with the Ellis County's PTAs, has developed a wonderful award ceremony called Mother and Father of the Year.
Students from each campus are given the opportunity to write a paper describing why their mother or father should be Mother or Father of the Year. The committee then reads each of these nominations and makes selections. This year's ceremony was held on Thursday, February 10th at Red Oak High School.
The program has been renamed to honor Mrs. Phyllis Dodd, a longtime teacher and counselor, and one of the developers of the Red Oak ISD Practical Parenting Program, who was tragically killed last year in an automobile accident. This year's winners were presented with beautiful plaques and certificates. Photographs were also taken and submitted to the Ellis County Chronicle to honor these outstanding and supportive parents. We would like to congratulate all the parents who were nominated for their dedication and commitments to their children.
And also, a special thanks to the Practical Parenting Program and Ellis County PTAs for hosting such a worthwhile event.
It is time once again to bring our audience important information that could save a life.
This month, with financial support from the Bassett firm, Hawkeye News crime reporter J.D. Foster brings us another hard-hitting crime report. J.D.?
Hey, Katie. You want a drink? Reporting's thirsty work.
Don't mind if I do.
And it's just that easy to become victim to a date rape drug. Stay tuned to learn how to prevent this from happening to you after a word from our sponsor.
This month's Drug and Crime Report is brought to you by the Bassett Firm, Texas Trial Attorneys.
February is here, and we all know what that means. The annual celebration of love is here, Valentine's. So February is the month of love, but sometimes love isn't about love, but about power and control. Did you know that 3 out of 5 rapes occur before a woman reaches age 18? And date rape is the most common form of rape at 78%. 1 in 4 girls are expected to fall victim to rape or attempted rape before they reach age 25. It might be easy to say that it doesn't happen to high school students, but both prom and graduation are coming, and they are often the site of large parties, sometimes with people you might not know well. Do you ever attend concerts or teen clubs? These are large public venues where drinks, including non-alcoholic drinks, are purchased. And it won't be so long before our Red Oak seniors are out in the world at college parties. Rohypnol, GHB, Active Sex, Roofies, Roughies, Roche, R2, Rib, and Rope are all names describing date rape drugs. These drugs are odorless and tasteless and are difficult to detect when in drinks or mixed with other drugs. These are date rape drugs that render the victim unconscious and limit memory, therefore rendering the victim vulnerable to those around them. Out of control. Not a good place to be. There are a number of things you can do to protect yourself from rape. 1. Don't take a drink from anyone unless you saw it poured. 2. Don't accept open drinks and don't drink from open drink sources such as punch bowls, pitchers, or tubs. 3. Don't continue to drink from any drink you have left unattended or turned your back to. 4. If you don't want to have sex, say it like you mean it and fight back if you have to. Despite urban myths, rapists are more likely to stop if you fight back. 5. If you or a friend seem too intoxicated for what you have had, leave the party and don't come back. My 6th and final recommendation is that you purchase some form of drink-safe technology. This is a new product on the market currently, which allows you to test your drinks on the spot for any of the major date rape drugs. Currently, DrinkSafe is the only company out there that offers this product. You can order it online and learn more about it at www.testsymptomsathome.com.
Thanks, JD. And again, thanks to Mr. and Mrs. Mike Bassett and the Bassett Firm for your sponsorship of our Hawkeye News Crime Report.
Oh, and you can have your drink back.
You made the right choice, Katie.
one of the biggest events of the year, the Project Success Drug Education Program once again put on a night of laughs at the annual Mr. and Mrs. Red Oak pageant on February 19th. For more on this, we go now to Hawkeye News reporter Camille Webster. Camille.
Thanks to Adeline and Katie. This year's Mr. and Mrs. Red Oak pageant was a lot of fun. The contestants put on their best performances for the judges, and the cafetorium was packed with supporters. Students and parents came out to cheer on their campus representatives in what was a fun night of laughs and great acts. The pageant featured outstanding acts from contestants Dustin Taylor, who represented Woodin Elementary, along with Mr. David McCam, youth pastor at Howland Meadows Assembly of God Church, who represented Red Oak Elementary. Dustin and David joined the Oaks Fellowship youth pastor Trustin Baba, who represented Red Oak High School, along with Red Oak High School class of 2005 senior C.J. Bassett on the stage for the men. On the women's side, Miss Katrina Knight of Red Oak Junior High, Miss Tracy Pitts of Eastridge, Miss Shirley Jones of Woodin, and Miss Jennifer Duvall of Red Oak Intermediate all performed great acts. The pageant has been held for the past several years, with all money made going to support Red Oak High School seniors through scholarships. This year's winners were Mr. Red Oak 2005 Trustin Baba, who was sponsored by the Oaks Fellowship Church and 7 Student Ministries. Trustin dazzled the crowd with his character, The Rock, who showed off his muscles while crashing Osama bin Laden and other characters through tables and other props. Miss Red Oak 2005 was Miss Tracy Pitts, whose character was I'm a Star. All the contestants did a fantastic job, and again the big winners were drug-free Red Oak High School seniors, who will receive financial scholarships later this year. And choirs from Red Oak Intermediate, Woodin Elementary, Eastridge Elementary, and Red Oak Junior High performed between each of the sections of the show. Also performing was the Red Oak Junior High drill team, who did a great dance number for the overflow audience. Pageant coordinator Becky Packer also received a special gift from the Parents Committee for all her hard work on the pageant again this year. Pageant coordinators reported the event raised over $5,000 for drug-free Red Oak ISD students. Red Oak pageant. Great job to all the contestants, and thanks to those who came and showed their support. Also, seniors should check with Miss Cleveland in the counselor's office to get an application for Project Success scholarships. Reporting from the Red Oak High School cafetorium, I'm Camille Webster, Hawkeye News.
Thanks, Camille. Looks like everyone had a great time. If you would like to purchase a copy of this year's Mr. and Mrs. Red Oak pageant or any other monthly edition of Hawkeye News, you can contact Chief Lindsay's office.
While February is a short month in calendar days, it's clear that it's a busy month around ROISD. We again would like to thank all teachers who allow us into your classrooms each month.
We also know that some do not have working televisions in your classroom or have missed some of the shows due to announcements. Hint, hint, CJ. So if you are a teacher and would like to borrow a copy of one of the editions you may have missed, check with Chief Lindsay to borrow a copy. Before we go, we wanted to ask, did you figure out who those class of 2005 students were from their 6th grade year shown earlier in our show?
Well, if you didn't, they were Kristen Day, Matt Esparza, and Daniel Lopez. Stay tuned next month to see what familiar faces you might see in our March episode. That does it for this edition of Hawkeye News.
Remember, if you would like to contact us, give us a call at 972-617-4312, or you can write us at hawkeyenews@redoakisd.org. Or you can always watch Hawkeye News on Varsity TV at www.myvtv.com.
I'm Natalie Hillary. And I'm Katie Stanglin. Until next month, thanks for watching and make it a great day.